Hello everyone. Today's video is a little bit special. I'm back from the States. I was at Rewired Fest and Ryzenum Grind. I've already debriefed the Rewired Fest. In any case, there were fewer players, so to speak. I won that tournament and it went well. I had some crazy matches. It was cool. Very good tournament. But I'm gonna talk mainly about the Ryzenum Grind today. What happened? I came second. What were my favorite matches? What were the toughest matches? Let's find out. Let's get started. So, Ryzenum Grind, a tournament in Texas, near Dallas and Waco. We were about 700 in total for all the games, and some of the best players in the world. Actually, there were the best players in the world. Well, not all, but there was Mia, who is one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world right now. We had Mexican players like MKLeo, we had American players, we had a bit of everything. Really very, very high levels. So my run was pretty complicated. The truth is, it was matchups that I don't like, that I don't enjoy. So, for example, I had Jazo. Jazo, who had beaten me last time, plays Ken. It went well in the end, but at the very beginning, it was very complicated. In fact, he'd just taken part in a street tournament. And when I saw the first game, he was doing a lot of misinput, probably because of that. But I still managed to adapt well. There were some very, very close games. I really thought it was going to be complicated. In the end, I adapted my game plan well. And the last game, for example, I had almost 3 stocks. So it was 2 stocks, 0%. It went better. I understood what I had to do. But very, very hard, Jazo. And the last time he beat me. So I was very happy to beat him. Even if, in terms of ranking, he's not very well placed. Personally, I think he's very strong as a Ken. And as a Shoto player, he's really very, very strong. So I was very happy with that win. What's more, just after that, he beat Riddles 3-0, so that's how strong he is. And then I had Bass Mage. So instead of Riddles, since Bass Mage beat Riddles, I had Bass Mage, who'd also beaten me last time. And that was a year ago. A complicated matchup in practice. Even though I think Wario has the tools to beat Rondudu, it's still very complicated in the sense that he can match guard. But Wario isn't used to being match guarded. Normally, he's 180% dead. Against Rondudu, I can literally die at 0. And that's very complicated. You really have to watch out for that. Bass Mage is a very good player too, so that match was quite complicated. 3-2, last hit. In the end, I managed to find an up tilt waff. Well, I almost had it. I found a waff wrinkle. And unfortunately, the waff didn't hit within a few frames. As you can see on the screen, Rondudu touched my body while I had the waff and it didn't touch him. I think that the waff was no longer active, give or take a frame or two, so that's when he reversed me and took the game over. But they were very, very nice sets. He played really well. We had a lot of adaptations. It was a really nice set and I'm happy to have won it. And then, in the top 8, I met Lima right from the start. For the record, that top 8 was 2 hours away. Knowing that I had qualified for the tournament at 4 o'clock or something like that, so I had 5 hours to do nothing except that I was out of luck. The day before, I was already starting to feel unwell. I could feel myself getting sick. So on the day, the D-Day, the day of Sunday, the day that's the most important, that's when I started to feel really, really bad. I got all my energy back, all the energy I could muster. I saved it for the match to qualify for the top 8. Except that after that, I literally collapsed and spent 4 hours trying to sleep on a table, trying to rest, trying to keep my energy up. But really, I was sinking into illness. I started to get headaches. I was tired, sneezing all the time. I had chills, literally, even though I had 2 sweaters on. Very, very complicated. And I was thinking, how am I going to play? How am I going to do this? How can I be in the top 8 in this state? How am I going to do it? In fact, I'm going to be playing against some very strong people. I'm not going to be able to think at all. I've got no energy left. Not only that, I'm not feeling well. So it's clear that physically, things aren't going well. But mentally, it's not going well either. As you say, I'm not in my right mind right now. How am I going to play like this? It's not right. Why is this happening now? This is the worst time. Besides, you know when you're sick. There are times, especially when it's some kind of flu or cold, when you're going to feel really bad, really tired. And then really the next day, you'll feel better. It was just the wrong timing, just the wrong day. Mentally, it's complicated. Well, I say to myself, I'm gonna give it my best shot. Then I get to the top 8 and I feel really, really bad. The problem is that Lima plays very fast. Lima plays very well. Lima is in my head. I just can't keep up. He's much too fast for me. He moves too much. He makes too many options that I'm not used to. He moves well. And in fact, what he does very, very well compared to other bios who do it less is his positioning at a disadvantage. He took advantage of the fact that Bayo could move really fast and not teleport, but almost in fact, and avoid dangerous situations. He was very good at recognizing, okay, now I'm in a dangerous situation. I'm going to mix up my options a lot. What's more, I'm going to get as far away as possible just to avoid getting hit. And he managed to reset the neutral without me even trying anything. And that was very, very problematic. What's more, he had air dodge wholesalers that I was doing as a customer. And on that score, he got me very easily. And I think it was very easy for him to beat me. I got the impression that he was doing everything right. And I didn't know how to adapt. I couldn't play well enough. I didn't find the answers fast enough, so in itself, I still had energy, I was still there, but I didn't do what I needed to do, I just wasn't good enough. And so, after that comes the depression, the despair, literally, because normally when you're in that state, when you lose as a winner, you say to yourself, okay, I'll get myself together. I think about the game, I carry on, I move on, okay, it's not over, because that's when I really died. I was baked and I thought, what's the point? In fact, why do I go on? I'm just going to lose confidence in myself. I can't do what I want to do. I don't have the energy to keep going. It's not going to work. How am I just going to keep going? I have no energy. I'm dead. Limit. So much EQ, in fact. There's no point in going on like this. And in the end, I was able to talk to my coaches. They said some very quick and very, very important things to me that enabled me to get up, keep going, and just give as good as I can right now anyway. In the end, mentally, I felt better. I did everything I could. I put myself back together. I don't know how you say it in French really, but it's bring it together in English. I've got the image in my head, but I don't have the words. Anyway, I've really been concentrating on these last few moments. I'm here, even if I'm a mess. I've pulled myself together. Even if I'm a mess, I've just got to make do with what I've got, that's all. And I've made do with what I've got. I've been able to think about everything I did wrong against Lima. I was able to concentrate against Tarek. Well, Tarek is more an application of what I know. It's not something new, you might say. Even if he had a new game plan compared to the last time when he applied it well, it was much better than before. I was still able to play around him. Then I had Mutase. With Mutase, I know more or less what to do. I changed what I had a little trouble with in the last set. Even though I'd won that set at Rewind Fest, it was still a bit tight, so I had to change certain things and not let myself be fooled by them. I had to reposition myself better, pay attention to his options, and ride him more as a player and not just as a pitch. And I managed to do that, so the matches weren't as close as last time. Then there was Lima, who is very strong and beat me as a winner. I had to find those solutions, so I found them. I repositioned myself better, I waited more, I was more patient at the right moment, and I was more aggressive at the right moment. And above all, I stopped being ridden like a beginner, so to speak, and he was less likely to get his kills. I was more able to survive, and I was less fooled by his positioning too. I managed to position myself better in relation to the dog, and it went better, much better. So I managed a 3-0 then against Mia, and now even if I'm done for, I've got to do it. I've got to at least give it my all, at least to have a chance of getting information on whether he's too strong or if there are things I don't understand. I have to be able to at least force him to do these things, because if he does anything and beats me, I'm not even going to force him to play well. So now it's 3-1 for him. A lot of things I either didn't know about Game and Watch or I don't know the answer to. And usually it might not have as much impact, but against him it had a lot more impact, so it didn't go as well. He beat me 3-1. Personally, I don't think it was that close, even if I did win a game. But no, he was just above me in too many ways. I really need to work on that, to find new solutions, new positions, new types of options against this character, because it's very complicated. I have the impression that he's always hitting everywhere at the right time in the right place, and there's always a hitbox on him, a hitbox that beats all my hitboxes. So what am I supposed to do about it? That's going to be the question, and I'm going to try to solve that problem. So there you have it, an extremely complicated Owen class for me, both mentally and physically. So I'm very, very happy to have managed to pull myself together. Thanks again to my coaches, who were able to help me with that. And I'm very happy to have managed to do what I did. In terms of my game, whether winner or loser, I had some very good wins. Even if, in terms of ranking the players I beat, I was supposed to beat them. In fact, they played so well that I'm glad I beat them. Be it Jazo, Basmaj, or Limba, they played very, very well. They could have been 1000th on the ranking, but I don't really care. I can see they're playing well. I'm very happy to have beaten them. I'm very satisfied with that, even if I only came second. Only second. Because that's what you have to tell yourself now. Oh, I only came second in a US major. Whereas before, when I did top 8, it was a party. It wasn't that long ago. So there you have it. A very good tournament indeed. Speaking of the tournament itself, very well organized. Best of 5 right from the start. Thank you. Thank you, best of 5. Thank you, CAC. Incredible tournament. Lots of free play setup. Great turnout, nice booths. Everything was great. The only negative point I could give was that the top 8 had 0 hype. So I don't know what happened, but there was no hype. That's it. Otherwise, everything else was very, 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 very good. I really enjoyed it. Until the next Ryzen God, which I hope to win next time. In any case, you'll see that at the next tournament, it's going to be Rutek, Republic, Port Priority, and UFA. Well, see you next time.